What's up, YouTube? So, first of all, I haven't been here in a minute. I've been sick. I'm heading into work today. If you don't like that I'm putting on my makeup while I'm getting ready for work and talking to the camera, even if it's about a serious discussion, I understand it may be incongruous, but don't watch if you don't like it. Like, if it bothers you that much, don't watch it. In order for me to film YouTube, I have a full-time job, a full-time career, and I have to work, and I really don't have time to both film and edit videos and sit down because I gotta work, I gotta go to the gym. I have a bunch of stuff to do. I have to cook dinner, I have to meal prep, I'm trying to get cute. So I have to put on my makeup sometimes when I'm filming videos, and so I understand if it's bothersome to some, no shade to those people, but I have no choice. I have no choice if I want to film a YouTube video, and I do want to film YouTube because I enjoy doing it. So anyway, don't vote for Michael Bloomberg, y'all. Don't do that. Do not vote for Michael Bloomberg. I know, and also I'm not going to be editing this video. I'm just going to be talking to you, and I'm going to put it up. So I know that he's been running these advertisements, and it's not just, it's not really people in my age range, because unless you're really watching TV like that, or you're susceptible to advertising like that, then maybe, somebody running an ad is not really going to impact you, but it does impact, people that are of a certain age range, especially in the Democratic Party. So he runs all these advertisements with Barack Obama in them. And so people are like, oh, I want to give this guy Michael Bloomberg a try because, Barack Obama has endorsed him in the past, And I get that. You're not dumb for following what an advertisement says. You don't know any better. You really don't know. And a lot of people don't know about Michael Bloomberg. Michael Bloomberg is horrible. Do not vote for this guy, okay? It's not even a Democrat-Republican thing. It is he will be bad for the country. First of all, off the break, stop and frisk. Stop and frisk is Jim Crow. It is a super racist policy that Michael Bloomberg had to be ordered to stop doing stop and frisk by the federal court in New York, right? And he still fought it. He fought it until he couldn't fight it anymore, and that's when he stopped doing stop and frisk. First of all, I'm from New York. I'm from Queens. I lived in Queens a long time. Let's just put it that way. From 7th grade, because before that I was in Brooklyn. I lived in Queens from 7th grade till I went off to college, right? And then I moved into Manhattan. And I lived in New York full-time until 2010. So from a child until 2010, I lived in New York, right? That's where I'm from. So I have been stopped with a group of my friends, especially when you're with a group of black friends, especially when you're with men in your group. Obviously, New York is the way New York is, everybody likes to talk about how diverse New York is. New York is both diverse and segregated, meaning that there's Little Italy, there's Chinatown, there's the Bangladeshi neighborhood, there's the Jamaican neighborhood, there's the, Ukrainian neighborhood, there's the Jewish neighborhood. So it's there's different, especially in Queens, there's different neighborhoods depending on what ethnicity that you are that people tend to congregate towards. So I'm black and I'm West Indian, and I grew up in a mostly West Indian neighborhood. So a lot of times when I'm walking with my male friends and stuff like that, we would get stopped by the police. They would ask everybody for their ID. They would fill the guys up, search them and stuff like that, and then send us on our way if they didn't find anything. I've never been in a group of guys that they've actually found something. Do you know how dehumanizing that is? It's so disgusting. It is so disgusting that if you are black or brown, because it wasn't just limited to black people, that is something that if you are a brown person, you need to be aware if this person becomes president as well, because he doesn't like immigrants either. If you were a black or a brown person, you're going to be likely to be stopped because, as Michael Bloomberg says, he's oh, these are the people that are the victims of gun crimes, and they're the ones that are perpetuating the gun crimes, so we need to just stop them. Now, before anyone comes to my video and says something stupid oh, black people commit more crime or something dumb like that, let me just tell you this. Over 5 million black people were stopped under stop and frisk. 80% of them had done nothing wrong, not even marijuana. And the way that they would trump up charges on people you would illegally stop somebody, later on deemed illegal, whatever. You would stop somebody for no reason other than the fact that they were black, And if you go and find Michael Bloomberg's little comment, he said it was because they were black that he was stopping them. Right? That he would have the police stopping them. You would illegally stop somebody only because they're black. You would search them. And then if you even found marijuana, you would arrest them for the marijuana. Now they got your fingerprints. Now they got your face. Now they have your vital information. And now you're in the system. So even if you get released that day, even if nothing happens to you that day, even if you only get a fine or you only go to jail for the weekend, you're now forever in the system. Having contact with the police is never a good thing for a black person. It never is. Not for anybody, but particularly not for a black person, because guess what they do? They'll say, oh, this individual is known to us due to prior contacts, and that gives them probable cause to mess with you in the future. So they mess with you for no reason the first time, but now they forever have a reason to mess with you in the future, to pull you in, stick you in a photo array, stick you in a lineup, and now you're likely to be misidentified for something that you didn't even do. It's a whole long history of how we treat black people in this country, and especially in New York City, that Michael Bloomberg was integral in a stop and frisk system that was akin to Jim Crow. That's what stop and frisk was. It was Jim Crow, okay? It was Jim Crow. What it told you was you stay in your neighborhood and you stay home if you don't want to be stopped by the police. Don't be out here around all these like tourists and visitors and stuff like that, because then you're going to get stopped by the police and thrown up against the wall and your pockets are going to get searched. And then heaven forbid, then you'll be having interactions with the police where like you could potentially die. Eric Garner, Amadou Diallo, Sean Bell, all those people died under this stop and frisk regime. So don't vote for him, y'all. Don't vote for him. People want to say stuff like, oh, he's going to be better than Trump. You know, Trump is really, really bad. Trump is bad. But guess who Trump was friends with until he decided to switch over and be a Republican and run on the Republican ticket? Guess what? Him and Michael Bloomberg were friends. Him and Michael Bloomberg went golfing together. Him and Michael Bloomberg agreed on stop and frisk. So everybody wants to talk about how, oh, racist Donald Trump is. Yes, of course he's racist. Of course he is. But you know what that devil doesn't do? He doesn't lie to you about what he is. And he was mad the other day when Michael Bloomberg apologized for stop and frisk, because Michael Bloomberg had just as lately as 2015, 2016, right before he decided that he wanted to be president, was defending stop and frisk. Okay. Another thing Michael Bloomberg did, which really concerns me, is that when he was in New York, you know, in New York, usually a mayor has 2 terms as mayor, right? Just like how the president has 2 terms. And he changed the laws in New York, campaign, meaning use his massive financial influence, because he is the 15th most wealthy person in the world. He is so rich. He is the 15th most wealthy person in the entire world, right? And he used his influence in order to change the term limits so that he could be mayor for 3 terms instead of 2. And everyone's afraid about Donald Trump trying to extend his power, and they're afraid that if he doesn't leave the White House, that if he doesn't win the election, he'll refuse to leave the White House. Here you have somebody who has shown you that he doesn't want to give up power. He got himself an additional term of power. I mean, give me a freaking break. And another thing, Michael Bloomberg is against marijuana legalization, and we all know that the reason that marijuana is illegal, as Richard Nixon said, is to police Black communities. It is in order to make sure that Black communities do not prosper and that they stay in jail. Because who is arrested more for marijuana possession? Black people. Although everyone uses marijuana to the same amount, possesses marijuana to the same amount, Black people are targeted and harassed and arrested and receive criminal convictions for marijuana more than anyone else. Here in the state of Maryland, we have decriminalized marijuana. But guess what? I still have people on my docket who are my clients who are charged with distribution of marijuana, while over in Colorado, you can sell marijuana no problem. Here, if you have more than 10 grams of marijuana, you're still open to to legal jeopardy, because you could go to prison for distribution of marijuana if you possess more than 10 grams. Don't vote for Michael Bloomberg. Don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, I cannot say this enough. I cannot say this enough. Do not vote for Michael Bloomberg. Michael Bloomberg is against marijuana legalization because marijuana being illegal in New York gave them the ability to arrest people who are otherwise doing nothing wrong. So what would happen is it would be a black man or a black boy. It wouldn't even be boys. It would just be, it wouldn't just be grown men. It would be boys, like little kids, like 13, 14, 15, 16, because they always say that they think that little black boys look older than what they are, which they don't, but whatever, that they look older than what they are. They would stop them for no reason just because they're black, right? And then they would search them, and if they find a little bit of marijuana, then they put this child in jail. So if you legalize marijuana, there would be no reason to put this person that you've illegally stopped in jail. And Bloomberg called marijuana legalization the stupidest thing he's ever heard. Although all the studies have shown that, and I myself do not partake in marijuana. That's not what this is even about. I want to make that very clear. Not that it matters, but I wanted to make it very clear that I don't smoke weed. I don't do any type of drugs, right? The only reason that I am pro marijuana legalization is because they use the illegality of marijuana in order to criminalize black bodies, and they overlook where white people smoke or possess marijuana. California has a very high white population. They've legalized marijuana. Colorado has a very high white population. They've legalized marijuana. Wherever it's a mostly black community, they find a way to still decriminalize it or leave it completely illegal, and then unjustly or disproportionately enact or enforce those laws against black people. And that is the type of Democrat that Michael Bloomberg is. Michael Bloomberg is not even a Democrat. Michael Bloomberg ran as a Republican and then switched to an independent for his third term, and he was still on the Republican ticket. He is a Republican. And it doesn't even matter if you're Republican or even if you're Democrat, because there are some Republicans that believe that government should have less intrusion in your life. However, Michael Bloomberg believes that the government should be all up in black people's lives. He is pro redlining. Redlining is where the government, or through the actions of the people in the neighborhood or realtors or business people, you basically prevent black people from being able to buy property in certain neighborhoods. Redlining has led to gentrification in New York City that has led to people like me being unable to live there because it's completely unaffordable. So people have had to leave New York, especially poor and black people and people of other color. So Hispanic people, Indian people, people of all types. And by Indian, I mean like people from India, but like foreign people, people from other countries, immigrants. A lot of people moved to New York thinking, like my family did, they moved to New York thinking, oh, this is going to be a new opportunity for me. And then you get squeezed out, living in deplorable living conditions, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in an apartment who are making more than what the average person is making. But because the price of living is so high and they prevent black people from buying in certain neighborhoods, black people and poor people are pushed out of New York City, especially out of neighborhoods that they were traditionally allowed to be in. So all of that happened under Mayor Bloomberg. Mayor Bloomberg, do not vote for him. I'm begging y'all, don't vote for this guy. I know that Donald Trump is really scary. I get it. I completely get it. But it's literally trading one bad thing for another bad thing. When people said that, Trump and Hillary, what's the difference? That was overblown. That was not true, right? Like, I have my problems with Hillary Clinton, but one thing I could not say was that she was the same as Donald Trump. Bloomberg is the same as Donald Trump. He's just richer, which means that he doesn't need Russia, right? He doesn't need special interests from other corporations. He is his own special interest. Everything that he's doing is because he's afraid of the progressive movement that's coming out of the left, right? The left is saying, oh, we want rich people to pay their fair share of taxes because companies like Amazon don't pay any taxes whatsoever. We want healthcare for all, and we want to pay for that from capital gains tax, for example. That's what we want. And because he doesn't want to have to give up any of his own money perpetually while living in this country, he'd rather spend a little bit of what he spent on this campaign is like nothing to him. He'd rather spend a little bit of money right now so he could try to get into the presidency to stop things like Medicare for all. If you want healthcare, right? If you want healthcare for everybody, if you think that it's a human right, then Michael Bloomberg is not the person person that you want to vote for. If you want student loan forgiveness or affordable college, then Michael Bloomberg is not the person that you want to vote for. He pays lip service to people of color. He gets Barack Obama to get into his video and say, oh, I endorse Michael Bloomberg. But at the same time that Obama was speaking for him, and I like Barack Obama, I'm not even hating on Barack Obama. This has nothing to do with him, really. But he's using him as a face. At the same time, he has Barack Obama in your face talking about, oh, I support Michael Bloomberg in his race for mayor. He was locking up black people. If you guys remember the Central Park Five from When They See Us, that was on that was on Netflix, and that was Ava DuVernay's documentary, and it was amazing, and everybody cried and talked about how horrible it was, what happened to those kids. Remember all of that? Okay, he fought the Central Park Five receiving compensation from the city of New York for their wrongful convictions. He is a bad person. Do not vote for Michael Bloomberg. Look into him, do your research, and once you do, you're going to see that that's not the man that you really want to vote for. He is not for you. He is not for me. He is not for us. He doesn't care about none of us. And it's not just a race thing. If you're not super wealthy, he don't care about you neither. He's not taking you golfing. He's golfing with Donald Trump. He doesn't care anything about people of color. He doesn't care anything about poor people. And he is hiding behind the fact that he was the mayor of the most diverse city. Instead, what he's doing is hiding behind that and then underhandedly stabbing all those people in the back. Every single person that supported him, he has betrayed in some way or another, unless they are wealthy. He's only there to protect his interests as a super wealthy person and to get power. He wants the power and control that comes along with being the president of the United States. Just like how he bought that third term in office, he's trying to buy the presidency. Do not be fooled. All right, that's it. All right, that's all I got to say about that. Don't vote for Michael Bloomberg. Comment below. Tell me what you think. Bye.